Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with layout 17 for the dog mini album. For this one, I have a photo of Sue and a green background. So I'm going to go and look for a pinky and a black pattern paper. And I'm also hoping to use that final paw print die cut on this one. I've used it, I had 3 of them and I used 2 of them earlier on the book. So I want to make sure the final one is closer to the end so it looks like it's more running throughout the book. I have the film strips spaced throughout the book, so this final paw print, I think it's time to get the last one used up. I'm really glad I had those left over from Lisa. She sent me a bunch of dog themed stuff for Billy pages, so I'm really happy I can use the leftovers for this project. So you can see that kind of the upper left corner of the page. I'm laying it out so I don't forget. As far as the pink goes, I really wanted to use more of this watercolory paper. I didn't have enough scraps though, but I still had another 12 by 12 in the book, so I went ahead and pulled it. And I'm going to go ahead and get my photo in double matted so I can start playing around. But yeah, with all the other pinks, I just feel like this one worked the best. So that's why I decided to go with. This is a 4x4 of Sue. I don't know if I mentioned that already, of her in the backyard. I originally wasn't going to use this picture, and I don't know why, but it's kind of a different pose than the other ones, and she's just so pretty. I had to include another one. So I'm going to trim an edge off this 12 by 12 for the notebook edge punch. I thought this would be really nice as the border because it has such good contrast with that darker green. So I'm going to get that down really quick, and then I can start figuring out layer wise what I want to do. I definitely want to mat the paw print in a pattern paper, and I'm also thinking I'll do that with this kind of peachy pink. I think it'll look really nice. So that's the plan. But I'm just going to ink this and get it stuck down before I move on. I'm trying to remember to, since this is the second to last page, use different things I've used throughout the book that I kind of feel need a little bit more representation. So you'll see that once I kind of get to the layers and figuring out what I want to do paper wise, I'll go back to a technique I used on one other page in this book that I just felt like it needed to be somewhere else. So it made the whole book look a little bit more cohesive. So that's the plan. I am going to tweak it a little bit. I don't want any of these pages to look identical, but I do want them to read and flow really well together. So that's the plan. I decided to use this frond black and white leafy paper as my black and white element. So I'm going to use that as my mat around the photo. And then I just want that kind of incorporated into the edge. So I'm going to have a strip of that peeking out from behind the notebook edge punch too. I think it just adds a lot of interest having that pattern behind the kind of pinky notebook edge punch. And then I'm playing around with having that peachy color be a layer top and bottom just to kind of make it look more like of a vertical design, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking I'll use those 2 scraps to sandwich the photo, and then I'm making sure to incorporate this black and white pattern somewhere else too, because I didn't want it just around the photo. I felt like it needed to be somewhere else. So I'm going to go ahead and get this glued down too and just tuck it behind the notebook edge punch, which is another thing I've done on several pages throughout the book. So that's another thing I wanted to reincorporate towards the end. But I'm liking how this is looking. I'm going to go ahead and trim these scraps into the same size, so when I stack them top and bottom, hopefully it looks like it's a longer vertical piece of paper that I've just layered behind my photo. And then I'm going to go ahead and commit and glue this paw print down to this paper here so I can fussy cut that and have that as an element as well, which I love because I kind of feel like the paw print creates a visual triangle with the peachy layers on the top and bottom of the photo, and I think visually it'll be a nice balancing element. So I cut here to let it dry, and now it's dry and I'm back. I'm just going to fussy cut that out to kind of be my focal point on this page. So I'm just going to fussy cut it really quick. And then I kind of get stuck after I get this paw print done because I'm kind of just feeling like this page is too plain and it needs something else. And that's when I kind of look back through my other pages and I find that other page I did where I kind of had scraps on the top and bottom of my photo layer just to really make it look more like a vertical design and just add some interest. So I end up cutting a couple more pieces of this black and white paper. And again, I decided to incorporate more of that notebook edge punch on that top piece and then just have a strip down at the bottom. And I really like how this makes the layers look, stretched and long. And so that's when I decided to kind of have my photo more towards the middle of this page instead of on the right, which is a little bit different. And then I'm popping this paw print up on some foam. I'm not using a ton of dimension in this book, but I do want some things to be popped up. So this paw print is going to be one of them. And then I liked how that looked, so I'm going to go ahead and commit and get this stuff stuck down. I don't know how thick I want the black and white pattern strips to be, so I'm just going to get the pink ones down, and then I'll trim these a little bit to fit more the spacing that I want. But yeah, I think this was a good compromise on design and help bring in some of the other elements that I want more throughout the book. So I think that worked out good. Inking these before I commit and glue them down, and then I'll get glue tape on all of these bits and kind of space them out before I commit. But yeah, I think that worked out good. I only have one more layout after this one, and then we get to go back and do final touches and really finish the book. And the final page is going to be a real time, so I can talk more about how I like to kind of look back on the book and figure out what things I want to bring in towards later pages to really make the book cohesive. So I kind of go more into that. But I thought for the final page, it'd be nice to have another real time before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of finishing everything. So now that this is all down, I'm going to pop this paw print up on, it already has foam, so I'm just taking the backing off to get that popped down, and then we'll be done. We only have one more page after this. And then comes the fun part of finishing. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.